The hearing of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs is called to order. I want to welcome all of our witnesses, all of our audience members. This is the second hearing we're holding on issues related to a bill I introduced called Right to Try. And I will ask for unanimous consent to have my written opening statement opened in the record, or entered in the record. And I'll keep my comments brief because I want to show about a 3.5-minute video as my true opening statement. On Saturday, I attended a walk for ALS in Appleton, Wisconsin. I think so many of us first heard about ALS as Lou Gehrig's disease, and then later on Tom Watson's caddy. And then in my own personal experience, a member of our Lourdes High School family, Doug Persorski, was diagnosed with ALS. His wife Meg and their children. Unfortunately, we lost Doug a couple of years ago. And then, as a United States Senator, a couple of years ago, I met a young mother of three, Trickett Wendler. And I had just met with the Goldwater Institute. I knew of their efforts trying to pass right to try bills in the states, like in California and elsewhere. Just mentioning my interest and my support for right to try, tears started streaming down Trickett's face. On Saturday, I met a number of patients fighting ALS and their families, fighting with them. There was one family, three of the siblings were suffering from ALS, familial. One had it for 15 years. It's a slightly different condition when it's that kind of hereditary ALS. We have Matt Bellina here. We also have Frank Mangiello, who provided such incredible testimony when we had our press release on this. And so, Frank, welcome to you. In a nutshell, this effort, if it were up to me, I wouldn't call it right to try, I'd call it right to hope. And so what I'd like to do now is offer a 3.5-minute video by Dr. Ibrahim Delpassand. Now, I consider Dr. Delpassand a whistleblower. He's a courageous doctor. He's board certified in nuclear medicine. He has a residency at Baylor, or he had his residency at Baylor College of Medicine, formerly at MD Anderson for 12 years, chief in clinical nuclear medicine. In 2003, he joined private oncology center Excel Diagnostics. He's an adjunct professor at University of Texas Medical Branch, a highly qualified doctor. In 2005, he began approved investigation for a new drug to treat neuroendocrine cancer, carcinoid. A newer version was later available, which meant another approval process from 2007-2010. In August 2010, he began treating patients with a therapeutic agent called LU-177 octatrioate. In March 2015, he had treated 143 of the 150 allowed patients. He requested FDA permission to expand the trial and add another 100 patients. By this point, the manufacturer had completed its multi-center trial and was in the follow-up phase to observe the progression of the condition. In other words, the clinical trials had completed enrollment. The FDA cited commercialization concerns in denying the request. So I'd like to just play the video now, and if you do that.
I am Dr. Delpassand, Ibrahim Delpassand. I'm board certified nuclear medicine physician and fellow of American College of Nuclear Medicine. In 2003, I joined Excel Diagnostics and Nuclear Oncology Center, which is a private center in Houston. In 2005, I was able to receive approval for an investigational new drug application performing targeted therapy for a special rare cancer called neuroendocrine cancer. In March of 2015, we had already treated 143 patients, and that was the time that I requested FDA to expand this clinical trial because the drug was not yet approved by FDA and it was not commercially available. When I submitted my request, about 30 days later, I received a call from FDA, and to my surprise, they mentioned that they cannot expand this program, and I will not be allowed to continue treating my patients essentially job was to go back to these patients and their family members and tell them that, sorry, I mean, FDA has told me not to continue this treatment. So we were able to resume our therapy with the, basically under this law. Of course, initially I was very worried as a physician. I didn't want to do anything illegal, for sure. We still have several clinical trials under FDA jurisdiction. So I didn't, at the same time, I didn't want to create an environment that I be considered as an outcast or do something to adversely effect on other clinical trials that we are doing with FDA. So I was very worried, actually. I can tell you that when I was talking to our patients, when I told them about the news, they were just so happy to hear this. This was, such a great news for them and gave them such a great hope to understand and to know that they can get their treatment, their cancer treatment. Until the time that we receive the approval and the drug becomes commercially available, in this period of time, we don't have anything for our patients. And this is where right to try law comes into action. We are not against FDA. We don't want to cut any corners. The fact of the matter is that our patients are sick, and some of them, they don't have that much time to wait for final approval and commercialization of a drug that can be life-saving for them or can extend their lives and extend their quality of life. So I am supportive of this law. I think this should be a federal law. I think the last number was 78 patients we have treated, and this treatment has helped many of our patients and patients who have been told that they are not going to live for only more than a few months.
Now, I consider Dr. Del Possant a hero. I consider him a whistleblower. He's taking great risk operating under Texas's right to try law, trying to save his patients' lives, but giving and offering his patients hope. Now, I spoke with the representatives of the ALS community here. Obviously, Dr. Del Possant is dealing with cancer patients. We also have Jordan and Laura McGlynn. Jordan has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Now, I was overjoyed Monday to find that the FDA finally approved a drug to give these little boys with Duchenne muscular dystrophy their right to try, their right to hope. So that's really what this is all about. Now, next week I will be asking the United States Senate to approve the right to try bill under a unanimous consent request. We've cleared it on our side, and obviously one of the goals of this committee is to provide powerful testimony and convince every United States senator, if they're not willing to co-sponsor, I'd certainly love their co-sponsorship of this very simple bill that just allows these state right to try bills to operate, that allow heroes like Dr. Del Possant to give their patients hope. If my Democratic colleagues and other Republican colleagues that haven't co-sponsored it aren't willing to co-sponsor, please do not object so we can pass this bill so we can give these patients and their families the right to hope. With that, I'll turn it over to Senator Carper.